From maid cafes to cat cafes to puzzle cafes and internet cafes, East Asia has no shortage of niche interest coffee houses, seemingly one for every interest, no matter how obscure. Initially, these trendy little spots emerged in Tokyo, Japan, and then went outwards from there. Now, even in the West, we're seeing similar cafes begin to crop up, from independently owned cat cafes to famous chains such as Tour Le Jour and Cafe Bene. And a lot of people have been baffled. But how did these cafes become so popular to begin with? What's behind their appeal and their meteoric rise? And what role do they occupy in the broader social context? Right now, we are in a Cafe Bene, one of the major Korean coffeehouse chains that can be found worldwide. The menu fare is pretty standard for a cafe such as this, with honey bread, bingsu, green tea frappuccinos, etc. It's also worth noting that opposed to selling more Americanized desserts, the menu fare that they have here is the exact same as what's on their menu in other locations, such as in Seoul, South Korea, and Beijing, China. The more typical coffee houses, such as the Cafe Benes and the Tour Le Jours, occupy, in the Western perception, more of the standard idea of what a coffee house should be. It's a place where you simply go to go get coffee and hang out. Asia is currently the largest growing worldwide market for coffee consumption, expanding by about 4% a year, and with coffee increasingly replacing tea as the drink of choice, though not usurping it altogether. Even within an increasing number of Buddhist temples nowadays, monks are incorporating coffee into what formerly was their tea ritual. Amongst the youth and even the older population, modern coffee houses are thought to be occupying a position that tea houses used to socially. A twist on this is seen in Asia's ubiquitous internet cafes, puzzle cafes, etc., where fun activities are provided in addition to food and drink. Regardless, all of these cafes seem to occupy a sort of liminal space for people who feel a lot of pressure from either their work or home life and want a place to get away. A cafe like this is a place where people can simply go, have no expectations whatsoever put upon them, and essentially just veg out for an hour or so. Nearly every culture has a space that serves this sort of function, so why not a cafe? And then there are the more unusual cafes. The cat cafes, the main cafes, the character cafes, and so on. These are the places that tend to draw more fascination and curiosity, as we don't have a common Western equivalent. First known maid cafe originated in the Akihabara district of Tokyo, Japan, and was largely based off of a popular dating simulation game wherein the main female love interests were, you guessed it, maids. However, when this first maid cafe came into being, physical contact, personal relationships outside of the work atmosphere, even taking pictures, all of it was strictly forbidden, and still is to this day. Instead, the waitresses, or I suppose the maids, engaged in more of an emotional relationship. They would welcome the customers home as they came in through the door. They would ask how they were feeling. You could even have the maids spoon feed you. And one can obviously see how this would be appealing after, say, a long day at work if you're a lonely bachelor. Since then, maid cafes have only continued to increase in popularity. But why? Some scholars, such as Nell Wolfhart and Michael Baker, have suggested that this is due to East Asia's love of fads and its conformist culture, essentially just suggesting that this has become the thing to do. Yet the theory that I personally find most compelling is that these cafes have effectively commodified emotive relationships and services. Petting cats, getting to have attractive people sweetly cater to you, living out unrealistic fantasies. While these are all undoubtedly enjoyable things, it's that actual connection to a living, sentient being that has made these cafes so incredibly successful. It doesn't matter if it's a cat, or a girl dressed up in a maid costume, or a hedgehog, or someone even pretending to be Hello Kitty. It's the imagined emotional connection between you and the other party being put into an environment where you feel that you can relax and indulge in it. The rise in these cafes' popularity is being linked to a sort of healing boom in Japan, wherein these affective relationships are essentially being commodified and repackaged for general consumption, needing no other investment aside from money itself. In the end, everyone has different reasons for visiting cafes. Some people certainly want no more than just a cup of coffee. But as a larger social phenomenon, the incredible rise of these niche cafes does draw curiosity. Three factors seem to constitute a significant proportion of their appeal. For some, they merely serve as a social space, the same as any tea house would have. For others, they provide a liminal space wherein they can escape from reality and any other pressures they may face. And for others, Many of these cafes provide a chance to partake in an effective connection, something that, in today's less socially engaged society, is harder to come by, especially not on demand. Now, there are likely other factors driving this trend, but as it currently stands, these are the best theories that experts have put forward on the issue. Yet no matter what the reason may be, at least it means more places to grab a satisfying drink.